Wholesaling Part 9. Understanding your buyer. Your buyer, 9 times out of 10 in this process, is going to be a rehabber, someone who wants to buy the property, fix it, and flip it. That's typically who you're going to sell to. There are some people that want to buy it, fix it, and hold it, but regardless, it's probably going to be a professional investor, most likely. Occasionally, you'll get something else, but that's going to be 9 times out of 10, if not 9.9 times out of 10. You got to understand what they're after. This is one of the biggest problems I see in wholesale. Throughout my career, I've typically been on the purchase end of wholesales more than on the wholesaling side. I've done both, but I'd say majority have been where I've been purchasing from wholesalers. And I've worked with people that I really liked. I enjoyed working with them, but every deal they sent me didn't make sense. They didn't know their numbers, and I got tired of dealing with them. After about 10 deals, I'm like, nothing you send me makes sense. I don't even have the time to investigate and look into your deals. As a buyer of wholesale deals, it takes me time to investigate deals. So the more you can do and present it properly to your buyer, they're going to want to work with you more. It saves them time. They can analyze the deal very quickly and say, yep, this makes sense. I want to buy this thing, and your deal is done. As a wholesaler, your goal is to have your deal sold within 24 hours of you presenting them to your buyer's list. You should have a good enough list where you have plenty of buyers that are interested, willing, and able to buy, but you should also be able to present your deals properly so that when they analyze it, they can make a quick decision and get back to you and say, yep, I want this deal. Let's just talk about the 3 numbers that are very, very important to understand whether you're a wholesaler or certainly a rehabber. What I find here is that wholesalers, they don't think about this. They don't want to educate themselves. So what happens is they're putting deals in front of buyers where these 3 numbers, either they don't know them or they don't make sense at all. The very first thing is your buy price. Of course, that's relatively easy. Here's what you have it under contract for. You put a reasonable markup in there. We'll talk about how to figure that out. And then you present it to the buyer at this price. The next number, which is very, very important, is your ARV, your after repair value. So if you're buying it for $100,000, what is it going to sell for when it's completely fixed up? Let's say $300,000 in this example. So that's what you want to be able to present. And you want to be able to present this to your buyer in a very concrete fashion. Here are 3 comparables. You don't need to give them 20, and you don't need to give them 1 or 0. Just give them about 3, saying, look, here's 3 similar houses that sold. This is why I'm telling you this house will sell for $300,000 when fixed up. Make sure they're actual comparables. Make sure the square footage is the same. They're in the same neighborhood. They're about the same style of house, that type of thing. And when you present that, they can look at it very carefully. It doesn't confuse them because you're not presenting 20 of them. And it says, okay, I understand this thing is going to be worth $300,000. That's your number 2 most important number. The third thing is the actual rehab cost. And again, this is a ballpark because everybody has their different ways of doing it. Some people can do it cheaper, more expensive, different finishes, all that kind of stuff. But you want to put an approximate number in there, something that's not too low where it's like crazy, where it's like there's no way you could do it, and nothing too high where it's going to kill the deal. So again, get to know about what it takes to rehab these properties. What do windows cost? What does a roof cost? What does an HVAC system cost? Even though as a wholesaler, you're not going to be doing these things, you got to know, because that way you can talk intelligently to your buyer. So again, those are the 3 numbers you need to present. What is the sales price? What is the ARV? And then what is it going to cost to get this project done? And if those numbers make sense, then you're going to have a line of buyers out the door willing to buy your property. The last thing to talk about is what should your wholesale fee be? Remember, you want your buyer to make a good profit on this deal. That's going to keep them in business. That's going to keep them coming back to you. So that's where you calculate your fee, whatever it is, where you can still make the largest fee possible, but allow them also to make profit. For example, if there's $100,000 profit for them in the deal, you might want to charge a $10,000 fee, maybe a $20,000 fee. You don't need to charge a super low fee of $1,000 if they're going to make $100,000. It's all relative to what they're making, and you're not really splitting the profit because they're doing the majority of the work, but you still want to make a reasonable profit in whatever makes sense for you. So that's it. Understanding your buyer 101. Make sure you know those 3 numbers. Make sure you put a reasonable fee in for yourself so you make money here as well. As always, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of this important series on how to wholesale.